So since last episode, I have made some progress with the town, as you can see. I've started to zone some American-style buildings just so I can get a feel of what I'm actually aiming to do. And I detailed this area further off camera, considering it was kind of a small job and I didn't want to waste some of this episode on it. This episode's pretty much just going to be a time-lapse, I suppose, of me filling all this in, because I doubt many of you want to watch me place these buildings individually, because it's just as simple as going in, left clicking, waiting for it to build, and clicking there to make sure it stays the same building. So without further ado, now that I've shown you everything that I did off camera, which wasn't much, but yeah, we're going to jump into the time lapse, and then once that is completed I will jump back into a live mode and I will go through everything that I have done, so stay tuned for that. So, as you saw in the time lapse, we built this little tiny district, I suppose you could call it. Suburb, there we go. And this is the theme that I kind of want to go with, a very American slapped up kind of community feel. So they all look like prefab homes, they've all got the same design. Different shapes, obviously, depending on the road it's on. We had room here, so might as well go for the bigger roads. And these are more compact, your more affordable kind of housing. All of these larger ones will be detailed. These might have a few fences here and there, and that's what we're going to do. So I got this really nice asset that I found before starting this series, and it's like a wooden fence. I saw I found it. It might have been in the game since launch. I'm not even sure if it's a standard asset, but you can't see it too well from here. But it's a nice old wooden fence. It suits this place. And then obviously we have this panel fence as well. So I'm still undecided on which one I want. I think for now I'm going to go with a modern fence, and then depending on how I feel, I'm going to change it. But that's what I'm happy with. Now that we have got some basic stuff down and basic what's the word I'm looking for? Utilities. We can move on to the bigger stuff. So in the next few episodes, in the coming episodes, we're going to be starting work on things such as the nuclear power plant and the trains and the train depot and freight yards and all these ideas that I have now for this map. And that should be enjoyable to watch. And hopefully I can make some episodes out of what I record. There we go, let's line that up. I'm going to have to turn Anarchy on. We go down here. Options and prop line tool. Anarchy. Yeah, how you get to that, I remember when I first got prop line tool, I couldn't find this. It took me ages to find it. This tree's annoying me, but what can you do? It took me ages to find it. It's this little these three lines here, and then the options, and that's it. Can we move this over so that tree isn't clipping into the road? There we go. I'd prefer if these buildings didn't have trees at all, but there's only so much I can do. Other than editing the assets myself, which I don't want to do because that's too time consuming. I don't think there's a way around it, and we're just going to have to deal with the assets, unfortunately. The trees, unfortunately. Can we line that up perfect? So that'll do. And finally, down here for this side. There we go. There we go, that's good enough. So, just little fenced off areas for back gardens, yards, whatever you want to call them. As you would in real life. This fence is not going to line up, is it? There we go, there's one. I'm not going to go through in detail every building because I don't have the time to do that. I might go back through off camera and slowly develop them over time, but it definitely won't be an immediate thing, just purely because of how time consuming this process is. Well, no, that won't do. It's really hard to judge. That'll do. Where the fences go. No. Be useful if they gave you kind of like a blueprint plan, kind of like in Prison Architect, how you can plan stuff out, but I don't see how that would work with props, unfortunately. But I developed things like that would be quite interesting, to say the least. Here we can be a little bit less precise because the trees are covering it, so you won't be able to see it regardless. So that's a big help. There we go. And this one. Do we have any more? Have I missed a few? I think I've missed one here, yep. And there we go. This idea to put the uniform buildings, it comes from the fact that when I've been playing this game, I just have never actually enjoyed seeing the buildings that there is in the game basic. So from
launch. That's my very weird way of putting it. The default buildings, they're not that appealing. There we go, that's better, in my opinion at least. So I went onto the workshop, found these buildings and placing them manually, just purely because then I have more control of where they are, rather than them being just where the zoning is. And to get them to place without deleting, I had to use a mod which circumvents the requirements for the buildings, otherwise they would just instantly disappear, and that was causing some major issues before I got it, and it was solved pretty easily. There we go, that looks good, all fenced off. Yeah, that looks good. I'm just so happy that the cars actually park on the drive. It just looks, it's just a small detail that it just makes me happy. And this front area is starting to come together. I'm not sure if I showed, I think I might have in the first part, sorry, I recorded the first part of this video about 5 hours ago, but I changed all this up. I changed the buildings for the police and the fire station and detailed it, so it looks really nice. I added some cars, ambulances, fire trucks. I don't know how they'd get out. I'd need some expert turning circle to get through that gap, but what can you do? I think, like I said, the next thing we need to do is just start ripping this up and get a proper location. I think over here is where I'm going to put it. But before we do that, we need to expand this further. And that's what we're going to do. This I'm going to leave blank so we can kind of like trees, and then I'm going to put a little tiny bit of commercial corner here. Kind of more industrial commercial, I suppose, such as garages and that type of thing, because it feels a bit barren just to have this as the only commercial area. I don't think that would be, I don't want to say realistic, because I'm not going for realism on this map. I'm just going for stuff that looks aesthetically pleasing, and I feel like I can put a lot of detail into these industrial areas, a lot more than I could do with just a standard commercial building, because obviously they're already pre-made, they're hard to edit, and therefore they don't give you much options when placing them. I feel like the buildings I'm going to go for, if we find them, I think I favorited them. Yes, I did. Sweatshops, it says. They just look like little industrial buildings, and if you move it to chain them all together, you could make a kind of a really interesting industrial plant. Not a plant, like a zoned area. So if you just wait for these to construct, I'll show you what I mean. So no, they're two different colours. If we merge these together, so it forms kind of like a little garage, and move them over here, and then you could have a nice little courtyard this way, and then that could be detailed and whatnot. And that's kind of the idea I have for this entire strip down here, I suppose. And I think that look good. I've never attempted it in the past. I normally just leave the commercial zones to do what they need to, because there's never been any decent buildings or assets for them. So I've just been letting it do its thing. But now that I've found those using the search tool, they're in the game from they've been in the game from launch, I believe. And I've never seen them used whatsoever. I've never seen them zoned, so they must be a specialised. You know, you can come down here and suppose all this. They must be a specialised building that I've never seen, I've never used. Let's just build this out. There we go. So what I'm going for is kind of grids or areas, and then in the centre of them just random chaos with the roads, and hopefully that is going to result in some okay looking suburbs, and that's what I can hope for. Can we join that up there? Yes, we can. Let's have a road coming off there, and one more off. No. I think what I'm going to do now is, considering you've seen this in the time lapse, we have detailed this tiny little area, we've drawn a few roads. I'm going to work off this off camera for next episode, just purely because zoning roads and zoning buildings isn't that interesting. That's why I originally put it into the time lapse. But I just wanted to show something in live cam. You know, it's not too entertaining to just purely watch a 5-minute, 6-minute time lapse, I suppose. So that's why I wanted to do some of it in live. But doing it all in live just doesn't sound interesting at all. I know I wouldn't watch that, so I'm not going to force you to watch it. So, like I said, going to end this here. Once again, I want to thank you all for watching and watching the episode, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.